like to remind you that you cannot submit hard enough to make a bad man good. It doesn't work that way, even though Mrs. Pearl thinks it does. That reverse filter always throws me off. But let's look at what she says here. You cannot be pitiful enough to force him to love you. He will never willingly leave a smiling secretary to come home to a frowning wife. You cannot be pitiful enough to force him to love you. You can tell him how he hurts the children, how he destroys his testimony, how he forsakes God and the church, and he will respond by taking his secretary to dinner so he can see a smile that has no strings attached. It is cruel, but that is the way of carnal men. He is a lonely man seeking identity in a woman's approval and admiration. Blah, blah, blah. You can hold out for repentance and most likely lose your husband, or you can court your husband and win back his favor. Now, on a level, and I'm talking the most surface level, don't disagree with her. Like, no. Who wants to come home to someone that's going to nag them? Like, I get that. But you don't make a good man better by submitting harder. Okay, you don't submit to neglect and hope he's going to suddenly come to his senses. Okay, the Bible tells us that we are to be as iron sharpening iron, and that's not just like man to man. That is a call for wives to their husbands as well. You can set boundaries in a way that is loving and not cruel or demeaning, but also holding the boundary. And the thing is, if someone reacts with anger to your boundaries, it's probably a good indication that the boundary was necessary, because it means they can no longer take advantage of you. And remember, boundaries are not about manipulating them or coercing them or blackmailing them or anything like that. Boundaries are about what you can control. So it is a completely appropriate boundary to say, if you are going to be sleeping with your secretary, I will not be having sex with you. If you are going to sleep with your secretary, I will not remain in this home. If you are not going to stop sleeping with your secretary, I'm going to take the children and go to my parents' house until this marriage is safe again. If your marriage is in trouble and you are trying to save it, don't get this book. This is going to lead you further down the path of destruction of your own identity, of your sense of self, of your marriage. Get real professional help and throw this in the trash.